Raya and the Last Dragon is a visually stunning Disney movie. The animation is great as expected of Disney. Having an Asian-inspired world building is a nice setting. And the message? Clear. Trust is the key to unity. But the deeper you dive into the story, the more cracks you find beneath the surface. For a movie all about trust, unity, and forgiveness, the movie often contradicts itself, skips key development, and forces emotional beats that simply weren't earned. Let's walk through the story first, then dive into why this movie, for all its good intentions, just doesn't hold up. The story is set in Kamandra, a once unified land now split into 5 tribes. Long ago, shadowy creatures called the Druin began turning people to stone. The dragons of the world united and used their magic to create a gem that repelled the Druin. In doing so, the dragons sacrificed themselves. That gem has been protected by the Heart tribe ever since. Raya, the chief's daughter of Heart, is trained to guard the gem. During a peace summit hosted by her father, she befriends a girl named Namari from the Fong tribe, but the evil brat betrays her to steal the gem. The resulting scuffle shatters the gem into 5 pieces, releasing the Druin once more. Years later, Raya is on a quest to find the last dragon, Sisu, and reunite the gem pieces to save the world. She journeys to the 5 tribes, collecting companions and fragments of gem, while constantly avoiding and confronting Namari, who continues to pursue her. The climax occurs when Sisu is killed during a standoff between Raya and Namari. Raya blames Namari. Namari blames Raya. And yet, in the end, all the characters come together to trust one another, restore the gem, and bring back those who were turned to stone. A happy ending for all participants. Sounds good in theory, right? But in practice, it's a different story. Let me start with the motivation of the other tribes who are responsible that the gem got stolen and destroyed. At the beginning of the movie, at the Peace Summit to be precise, Namari makes some interesting comments when Raya gives her something to eat, implying that they don't seem to be doing as well at home as in Heart, possibly even starving.
Rice or stew? I didn't think that'd stump you. This is actually one of the first times I've had rice in a while. Really? Fang may look nice on the outside, but we have some pretty big holes on the inside.
When I first watched it, I thought that might be the main motivation from the Mari or the other tribes. It sounded like they were not doing as well as Heart, and they needed the power gem to help themselves. I thought that was a setup to justify their actions later in the movie. They could have shown flashbacks to provide more insight of their struggles. But sadly, they did not. They did not show me the state they currently lived. All I got is the one line from the Mari, without any evidence or backup lines from all the other characters. We don't get to see how bad she is currently living. This is especially infuriating, because that makes all other tribes look greedy and selfish. When at the end, all the tribes come back to Heart. They should be begging for forgiveness and show more remorse than standing idle there. If the movie showed me why they wanted to steal the gem, aside from greed, I could at least be more understanding. The thing is, I am pretty sure the gem doesn't even affect the surrounding. Yes, while we can see pretty green background with full of plants, water, and other stuff, but is it stated that the gem is responsible for it? When Raya introduced the other tribes, she mentioned how fierce they were, living in the cold snow and hot, dry desert. Now, when she traveled to these places, years after they all stole a piece of gem, it's still full of snow and desert. Nothing changed apparently for these two. Why should it affect Fong then? Fong does look great when we see it later in the movie. There's a lot of water. There's also a lot of green. The weather is nice. It does seem the gem is responsible. But like I said, it wouldn't make sense if Fong were the only one profiting from the gem when the other 2 places didn't change at all, even though they had a piece of the gem just as long. Either Namari lied about her remarks of her tribe, or the movie forgot that point and just gave Fong the ecosystem they wanted to justify their actions. Let us return to Sisu. Her whole point in the movie is to constantly push her belief of trusting others to Raya. The reason she holds so strong this belief is because when she and her friends were surrounded by the monsters, they all gave their life energy to Sisu to save the world.
I don't know why they chose me. It could have been any of us. All I know is I trusted them, and they trusted me.
I understand why she holds it so strong to her beliefs, as she said herself, that she was not worthy compared to her siblings. Sisu maybe has an inferiority complex, which is why it might be so surprising to her that the other dragons put their trust in her when she can't believe in herself. So, it might be that's why she refuses to believe that people can't change for good and living always in doubt, because that would put blame or hurt the sacrifice the other dragons did. Again, I understand why Sisu acts how she acts. I have my headcanon for that. The problem is that the movie is trying to push her point as it is the only right way of thinking. Sisu constantly encourages Raya to trust others because her dragon siblings trusted her, but that situation isn't the same. Sisu and her siblings had years of history. Raya and Namari have 5 minutes. Raya was betrayed once, then hunted for years, and when she finally gives Namari a second chance, Namari shows up with a crossbow and nearly kills Sisu. But the movie still frames Raya as the one who must change. That's not trust. That's narrative gaslighting.
You know what they say? Fool me once, strike one. But fool me twice, strike three.
You can't trust people who betray you repeatedly. At some point, there's a limit. You can forgive them. You can forget the pain they inflicted on you. But you don't trust them the same as you did before. Trust needs to be earned. You don't share your secrets with someone you just met just because you both love dragons. I can't believe there are people who genuinely believes Raya takes part of the blame for Sisu's death. Just look at the waterfall scene. Raya puts aside her grudge and brings Namari to Sisu. Namari then pulls a fucking crossbow on them. Her finger pulls the trigger. Sisu dies. And somehow the film wants us to believe Raya shares the blame? Yes, Raya struck at Namari, but only after Namari showed clear intent to harm. If anything, Sisu's death is entirely on Namari. She brought the weapon, aimed it, and hesitated just long enough for things to go wrong. Heck, they even show us how she slowly pulls the trigger. Please tell me what Raya should have done differently when Sisu, her friend, and only dragon who can save the world, is in immediate danger. Namari's conflicting face is not enough to blindly trust that she doesn't pull the trigger. Namari did absolutely nothing to reassure her. She means no harm. She was betrayed when they were children, causing her whole tribe and father turned to stone. Hunted for years, and the first time she showed goodwill, she betrayed yet fucking again with pointing a crossbow on the only dragon who can save the goddamn world. If there's a time to act, it's now or never.
But you didn't trust her. That's why we're here. Do whatever you want. But you're as much to blame for Sisu's death as I am.
Shut up, bitch! Oh my God!
And that Namari has the balls to gaslight Raya, that she's responsible for Sisu's death just as she is just unbelievable. I would have less a problem with the line if it was refuted or Namari herself later admits it was only her fault. But worst part is, I honestly believe the movie wants you to agree with her. You know what the movie could do, to put partly blame on Raya. Even connect the theme trust in her doubtful character? Play the scene where she pulls the trigger in reverse and let her slowly lower the crossbow. Like, we see how Sisu's words are affecting Namari. She genuinely doesn't want to hurt the dragon, who she loves since she was a child. We see Namari is not inherently evil and she is willing to change, but Raya just can't believe her. Even though she sees Namari as lowering her weapon, she is too blinded by her grudge against her. She refuses to believe that Namari can change and attacks her, which then results in the accident, leading to Sisu's death. It was Namari's weapon that killed Sisu, but it was Raya's distrust and rush action that triggered it. That way, even the ending makes more sense, as Raya would have to be the one who has to overcome the distrust in Namari by giving the part a gem. It's terrible they didn't make her a redemption arc for Namari. I know people hate that Disney doesn't have real evil villains anymore. Everyone is misunderstood, and I get that. But in this case, for the point the movie should make, Namari needs a Zuko treatment from Avatar. Let us see how her mother influenced her decisions. Let us see how she slowly realizes her wrongdoings, and have her help out our heroes and earn Raya's trust back. Raya's arc is how she lost everything she held dear to her by the greed of the other tribes and the pain she got when Namari betrayed her kindness. Throughout her journey, she meets people from the said tribes who are responsible for the world ending, and she learns that not everyone is evil. The decisions of the leaders are not reflected to the people who just live by. Reyes opens up, receives help, and starts to trust others, with the biggest challenge in the end with accepting the apology from Namari, the cause of her trauma. But instead of that, we got the current movie, which wants us to trust blindly everyone and everything. Namari's redemption is very unearned. Some might say she earned it at the end, when she helped to connect the gems and sacrificed herself. But no, too little too late, bitch. The scene at the end, where she connects the parts of the gem to save everyone, hardly counts, because it was literally the only thing she could do. She didn't have a choice, or she would have screwed herself. She would have done the same thing, even if she was still 100% evil, if anything just to save her mother. Do you want to know who I feel the most sorry for? It's Raya's father. Just imagining that your last moments are with people who betrayed and attacked you at the very day where he wanted to deepen their relationship with one another. And you have to let your small daughter alone with monsters now roaming in the world. And when you wake up, you see how your small daughter matured already to a young adult, losing all the precious moments and years you could have spent with her. Imagine everyone else who wake up and realize that your loved ones are now years older or even dead in the time you were frozen. This is like the Blitz in Marvel. The Druns are terrible monsters. I don't know why they are here, where they come from, what's their goal, and why the people who are turned to stone make all the same gesture. Like, it has to mean something. They seem like thrown in, just so the movie can happen. I know they are not the main focus of the message of the movie, but that doesn't justify their poor integration in the movie. Are there no guards in heart? The gem is literally the most important artifact in the world, holding back the Druns, who once almost destroyed the world. Even if they don't know that destroying the gem would release the monsters, they definitely were aware of the importance of the gem. And the only one guard is the father? Are there even soldiers in heart? Just because the location of gem is hidden doesn't mean you can leave it unguarded. When the other tribes confronted them in the cave, the Benja is literally the only one who fights against them. That's a problem I had with the movie. There are too little people around. All I see are few nameless NPCs in the background, and that's literally it. Even though I criticize the movie a lot in this video, I wouldn't have done it if I didn't see a lot of potential here. Many people said it should have been a series, and I 100% agree. The story needs time, more character development. The world and the tribes could have been more explored. But sadly, we live in a reality where we got what we got. Raya and the Last Dragon has so much potential. The message of trust is powerful, but it's not earned. Characters are forced into roles the story hasn't built up. Redemption happens without growth. And the film wants you to ignore logic and pain for the sake of a neat conclusion. This isn't a bad movie, but it's a frustrating one, because with a few more drafts, it could have been unforgettable.